Okay, good morning. So, our next topic will be inventories. So, imagine yourself in the aisle of the largest supermarket in your area. The canned goods, ang mga nakita yung canned goods, raw meats, vegetables, mga packed noodles, drinks, cosmetic, detergents, and other you will see. So, kung pumunta man kayo sa SM, kung may mga makita man kayo dyan, mga item na ganyan na binanggit ko, that is called inventories. Okay? Now, for inventories, same goes with clothes, no? Yung mga department stores, medicines, and the pharmacies. In short, in layman terms, inventories are those being sold by an entity in their normal operations. So, in ordinary course of business, in their normal operation, if the item is being sold regularly, that is called an inventories. So why do entities sell inventories? Of course, they sell inventories to earn a profit. Because profit, which is the difference between the selling price and the cost to produce. So if they want to create a product, they will put a markup, and that is called a selling price. And deducting that from the cost, you will earn a gross profit or purchase from the inventory. So from this amount, other operating expenses will be charged and the remaining amount will serve as the net profit. So yung mga operating expenses natin that is not related to the production of the product, that is being deducted to the gross profit, we will go now to the net profit. So based on this, for entities who are involved in selling tangible products, inventories are their lifelines and serve as the reason for them to continue their operations. So, ibig sabihin, for example, sa taxation, we have lifeblood doctrine, meaning the government cannot exist without the taxes. So, yung taxes na yun serve as the blood, no? Ito yung buhay. So, dito din sa mga business, yung inventories nila will serve as their lifeline. So, without this, the company will not exist. Okay? So, inventories according to standards. So, we have here 6 inventories according to accounting standards. So, number 1, according to PS2 inventories, these are called assets. So, it can be held for sale in the ordinary course of business. So, number 1, we have in the process of production, such as held for sale, kung nasa process pa lang production pero pwede na siyang ibenta, so pwede din yung inventories. In the form of materials or supplies to be consumed in the production, process, or rendering services, so this is called a raw materials, no? So pwede din siyang inventories. Now, it should be noted for a product to qualify as inventories, so any one of these, no? Any one of these could be criteria should be met. So, a student you should master this definition since it's very crucial in solving items of inventories. Let's go with number 1, item A. Item 1, held for sale in ordinary course. So, item A in the definition mentions ordinary course of business, which means the activities that are normally undertaken by entity in its operations. So, in other words, the classification of asset as inventory depends on who currently controls the asset in questions. Let's say, for example, yung mga chairs and tables of restaurants, di ba, makikita natin to sa restaurant, but they are not called inventories. They are asset, no? Because they are capital asset because the ordinary course of business involving selling of food and service, not selling the chairs and tables. So, kung sa restaurant, ano yung ba nang binibenta nila? Hindi naman nila binibenta yung chairs and upuan mo. That is for you to take a seat and para makakain kayo. So, yung binibenta nila is the foods and their service. However, these are considered as inventories naman yung mga table and chairs sa naggawa noon, yung mga manufacturer ng chairs. Since yung operation nila, normal operation nila was to create a chairs and table and then ibebenta nila sa mga restaurant. Okay. So ano pa yung mga other examples natin for inventories? We have house and lot for sale by a real property developer, pwede din. And animals for sale by pet shop, since pet shop, on the word is nagbebenta sila ng mga animals. Machinery for sale by a hardware stores or manufacturer of hardware products. So as long as it is part of their normal operation, that will be considered as inventories. So what is the initial measurement of inventories? So initial measurements of inventories shall comprise all costs purchase, yung cost of conversions, no? So lagay natin cost of purchase. Meron din tayong tinatawag na cost of conversion and other costs incurred in bringing the inventories in their current locations. Okay. So, yung cost ng inventory, ito yung laman na tatlo. Okay? This one, and this one. Now, for cost of purchase, the cost of purchase of inventories, it should comprise of the following. Ilagay natin dito yung cost of purchase. Meron tayong tinatawag na purchase price. So, kung ilan yung nakalagay na amount, that is the purchase price. Number 2, we have what we call import duties. So, meron tayong import duties. And non-recoverable taxes. So, ang hindi na pwede ma-recover na taxes are also part of the cost of purchase. Transport costs. Pwede din. Kasi they are used to bring the inventories into their present conditions or location. Ano pa? Handling costs. Handling costs. Yung paghandle ng product natin, they are also paid. Other costs na mayroong effect, no? Other costs attributable to others, good materials and also services. So if it affects yung cost of purchase, ang laman nito, purchase price, import duties, non-recoverable taxes, transport costs, handling costs, and other costs. Take note, non-recoverable taxes are excluded. So, ini-exclude natin to. Sa transfer cost naman natin, ini-exclude natin yung transfer cost to customers, yung freight out. Okay? Because that is considered a expense. Freight in, pwede. Pwede natin isama yung cost. But that is part of inventory. So, trade discount naman. So, yung trade discounts, rebates, and other similar items are also deducted. So, lagay natin. Okay, let's try to solve a problem. Let's say we have company here. Say, Sienna Company, purchase and inventories from abroad for resale, including the following costs. So, bumili siya sa ibang bansa. So, ano yung mga item natin dito? Sorry. So, we have this price ng inventory, which is not, hindi pa natin pwedeng isama kasi meron yung trade discount, no? 10%. Lagyan na natin 10%. Uh, um, Isasayin na lang natin. Meron tayong import duties, meron din tayong import tax not recoverable, meron din tayong variable amount, meron tayong rate, also meron din tayong freight from Philippine port to warehouse, and freight from warehouse to customers. So, kulang na lang, lagyan natin ng mga amount. Import duties is worth 200,000. 75,000 for not recoverable tax. Recoverable tax, these are excluded. Freight from abroad. So, that is depend. Check na lang natin mamaya kung paano natin ito isa-solve. And also, we have freight from where. So, let's try to find the balance of inventory. So, take note that the list price should be deducted from trade discounts. Kasi sabi nga kanina, na trade discount, rebates, and other similar items are deducted in determining the cost of purchase. So, therefore, we need to deduct. So, ibig sabihin, yung trade discount natin should be less. Okay? Ilaless natin. So, 10% ng 1 million. So, this is less. Oops, sorry. Times natin to sa negative 1. So, 3 discount. Saan galing yung 3 discount again? That is 10% times 1,000. Then, import duties, that is included. Diba? Sa cost of purchase, i-include natin yan. So, import duties, lagay natin. How much? That is 200,000. Next, sabi natin kanina, yung recoverable taxes are not included. So, therefore, included na lang natin ito are taxes not recoverable. So, that is 75,000. Okay, freight from abroad to Philippines. Yung shipping fee natin. Pag freight out kasi, point of view mo ng seller ka. Pag freight in, bumili ka. So, that is included. Kasi it needs for the item to be okay. Freight from Philippines port to warehouse. So, freight from tingnan natin. Okay, freight from Philippines to port warehouse, that is also included since it needs for the item to be on the condition or on the location. Okay, how about freight from warehouse to customer? So, yung last natin na freight from warehouse to customer, that is called freight out. So, we should not include this one, no? Because this is called a freight out. Therefore, our cost included should be this. $1,215,000. So, just do the operation. I-add mo lang itong lahat na equal ka 1,215,000. So, this is a Paano ba natin palitan yung peso sign? Frequency, look at this one. More formats. Um, Custom currency, pesos. Philippine pesos. URST. Philippine pesos. Philippine pesos tayo. Okay. Again, the list price shall be reduced to trade discount to arrive at the invoice price. Ito yung invoice price natin. Pag ito ay minus mo dito, that is 900,000. So, yung invoice price natin. Kung sinabi ng problem, yung list price is also the invoice price. So, wala tayong deduct na trade discount. Import tax. Okay, again, recoverable tax are excluded since it can be recovered to other means. So, this will be reported as an asset as apart from inventories. So, freight from warehouse to customers, that is called selling expense as a freight. Now, let's try for a basket parties. No? So, pwede din kasi mangyari na yung entity bumili ng different inventories into a single transaction. So, in the case of basket price, it shall be allocated in the using the relative sales value method. So, this method uses the proportion of the selling price of each inventory to the total selling price of all inventories purchased. So, tingnan natin. Kaya ang gagawin lang naman natin dito is we will try to allocate the amount. Para maintindihan natin, try to solve a problem. And also okay. In a single transaction, a supermarket purchased a box of soap, shampoo, and detergent for its inventory. So, maramihan into a single transaction. The total purchase price is 1.6M, while the selling price of soap, shampoo, and detergent were 800, 700, and 500,000. So, respectively, using a relative sales value, hanapin natin yung cost. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, ang gagawin natin is proportion po, no? We'll try to find the proportion. So, dito, lagay lang natin yung soap. Then, put a shampoo and detergent. Then, you will put the amount of the selling prices and the allocation ratio. Also, the allocated cost. So, therefore, our amount for soap that is equal to 800,000. Shampoo that is 700,000. Our detergent will be 500,000. So, sum natin. So, ito yung selling price, di ba? So, we know now the selling price. Now, we will try to find the ratio. How do we find the ratio? Yung 800,000, 800,000, i-divide mo lang sa 2 million. Then, yung 700,000, divide mo sa 2 million. And 500,000, divide mo sa um, 2 million. So, ito yung ratio nila. This will equal to 100%. Okay? So, kung gagawin natin tong percent, so, ganyan po yung itsura niya. No? 40% ng 2 million is 800,000. 35% ng 2 million, 700,000. 25% ng 2 million, that is 500,000. Now, how do we find the allocated cost? Simply, we just need to multiply to the cost, the total cost. So, this is the total cost, 196,000. Now, first is 1,600,000. I-multiply natin to sa 40%. So, therefore, dito, we will equal to 640,000. Now, same scenario, ang gagawin natin, yung 1,600 multiply mo lang sa 35%, 560,000. And 1,600 times mo sa 25%, that is 400,000. So that will be our allocated cost for each. If we are talking about the basket purchase price, so based on the previous computation, the allocated costs are 640,000, 560,000 for shampoo, and detergent shall be 400,000. Now, what if ang problem is based on the deferred settlement basis? Nangyayari ito minsan, no? So, when the arrangement effectively contains a financing element, such as when there is a difference between the purchase price for normal credit terms and the amount paid, o magkakaiba yung purchase price for normal credit terms and the amount na binayaran mo, then they recognize the difference as interest expense over the period of the financing. So, yung cost of purchase in this case shall be equal to the cash price of the acquired inventory. Okay? So, in terms of this, yung magiging cost na niya na is yung yung magiging cost niya na is will be the equal to the cash price of the acquired inventory. Okay? Next, how about cost of conversion? So when we say cost of conversion, this talk about on converting the raw materials into a product. Okay, finished product. So the cost of conversions, this include directly related to the units. For example, yung direct labor, direct material, pwede din yan. Diba? So, such as direct labor, pwede. They also include a systematic allocation of fixed and variable productions overheads that in converting materials into a finished goods. So, without this, the product cannot be turned into a finished product. So, kailangan nila to, kailangan na may magtrabaho, kailangan ng items or mga variable and fixed production overheads. For example, yung kuryente, di ba? So, kinakailangan yon para makagawa ng product. So, these are also included in the computation of the product, right? Next, we have ano yung mga other costs natin. So, binanggit natin kanina that there are other costs that are directly attributable to the creating of the product. So, let's say yung mga designing of products, no? So, yung pag-design ng product. Kasi inappropriate naman sa mga customer kung hindi nila ito makikita. So, other cost natin will be Other costs are included the cost of inventory only to the extent that are incurred in bringing inventories to their present location. For example, it may be appropriate to include non-production overhead or the cost of designing product for a specific customer on the cost of inventories. Kumbaga, kung kailangan nila itong pinturahan para makapunta sa customers, that should be included in the cost of the product. So, what are the items? Since nabanggit na natin yung mga items na included in the production of product, what are the items that should be excluded? So, we have, lagay lang natin dito. So, what are the items? So, pag hindi natin in-include, hindi natin kinapitalize, that will be recognized as a expenses. And the period in there. So, number one, we have abnormal amounts of wasted materials, labors, or production costs. Pag mayroon tayo niyan, hindi natin yan sinasama. Storage costs then, unless these costs are necessary in production process before a further production stage. So, hindi din natin sinasama yung storage costs. Unless na lang kung kailangan natin to sa production process before a further production stage. So, pag further production stage, gagawa sila ng ibang product. Now, next is yung mga administrative expense. Wala naman na-relate sa paggawa ng product. So, administrative overhead that do not contribute to bringing the inventories to their present location and conditions. So, yung mga, let's say, ball pen, kailangan ng officer, 'di ba? Hindi naman yun i-include natin sa paggawa ng product na paint or product na paggawa ng machines. Kasi yun, ginagamit lang yun for admin. So, yung mga related lang sa paggawa ng product will be capitalized. And also, we have selling costs. Yung pag-advertise ng product, hindi po yun kinakapitalize. Okay? Hindi yan kinakapitalize ng mga advertisement costs. Okay? Now, in relation to storage costs, ang binanggit natin sa letter B, it shall be capitalized as cost of inventories kapag lang it relates to the storage of raw materials and work in process. So, on the other hand, the cost shall not be capitalized naman if it relates to storage of finished goods as there will be no further production stage. So, ibig sabihin kapag raw materials pa lang, tapos nasa work in process pa lang, i-include natin siya as a cost. In relation to storage costs, it shall be capitalized as cost of inventories if it relates to storage of materials and work in process. So take note of this word if only work in process and raw materials. Okay. Let's have an example. Let's say a company Okay, let's try to find the um, cost of this product. So a British company accepted a special manufacturing order from Asia. The company incurred 250,000 materials that is included. 170,000 conversion costs is also included. Since this is special order, the company also incurred 100,000 for designing the product that is included and 50,000 for modifying the current production process. Okay. In addition, excessive wasted materials amounting to 80,000 was incurred because of highly specialized nature of order. So that is an expense. Lastly, they also incurred storage costs of 70,000. When the inventory was in the working stage, 40,000 was alone. So, ang i-include lang natin dito is first yung materials. So, ano yung materials natin? So, that is included as 250,000. Now, for conversion costs, include din natin. So, that is equal to 170,000. Next, we also have cost of designing since this is a special order. So, we need to include this one, which is equal to, sorry, hindi ko na naman nababa. So, let's say British company accepted a special manufacturing order from Visa company. The company incurred 250,000 for materials and 170,000 for conversion costs. Since this is a special order, the company also incurred 100,000 for designing the product and 50,000 for modifying the current production process. So in addition, excessive wasted materials amounting to 80,000 was incurred because of highly specialized nature of the order. Lastly, the company also incurred storage costs of 70,000 when the inventory was in work-in-process stage and 40,000 when it was already finished product. So yung first natin i-include is materials since this is needed to create a product. Conversion cost naman is needed also. For example, yung direct labor, di ba? Kailangan natin siya. And since this is a special order, ilalagay din natin yung amount na 100,000. Ano pa? Yung cost of modification, special order na na. Include din natin. So that is worth 50,000. So ano pa yung kailangan natin i-include? Yung storage cost. Kasi that is during work in process. Pero kapag finished product na, hindi na natin siya i-include kasi no further process ang needed. So that is only worth 70,000. Okay? Now we need to add now. So cost natin to be included, cost of inventory should be equal to the sum of these. Oops, bakit hindi ay? Mayroon pa tayo hindi nalagay. Nag-error. So, this one. Number. Try natin. Baka hindi nag-ano. Secure the case pencil. Sige, may mano-mano na lang natin. So, 250,000 plus 170 plus 100 plus 50 plus 70,000, that is equal to 640,000. So, that will be our amount. Now, again, there should be a peso sign on it. Okay. Again, we should take note that the wasted materials are not included since these are part of inefficiency of the management. So, expenses siya. And also, 40,000. since um, incurred na siya and finished product na. So, hindi na natin siya pwedeng isama as a part of the cost. So, ano yung inventory of a trader or merchandiser? So, kailangan nyo to kasi during management accounting, ito yung tinuturo din sa inyo. So, a trader or merchandiser is an entity that buys finished goods from another trader or directly from a manufacturer or for resale. So, it has only one type of inventory, which is called a merchandise inventory. Inventory for resale or inventory in any other term which can properly describe it. So, bumibili sila sa one manufacturer and yung inventory na yan is for resale. Merchandiser also tries to sell the inventory at a higher price. So, naglalagay sila ng markup para maka-earn din sila ng gross profit. Okay? For example, bibili sila sa convenience stores, okay? Sa bookstores, tapos ibibenta nila sa inyo. So, sa kanila, tawag sa kanila is trader. Okay? So, ano yung laman ng kanilang income statement and balance sheets? So, for income statement, and also we have balance sheet. Okay. We have here beginning inventory for, then we need to add the purchases. Ibibili sila ng inventory. Ito yung dati nila, period 1, mga stock nila. Then they will calculate for TGAS, meaning total goods available for sale. Total goods available for sale. Okay? Then, ililess natin yung ending inventory. Yung natirang product. Kasi para makalculate natin yung cost of goods sold. Yung cost ng nabenta natin. Ending inventory. So, to calculate for the cost of goods sold. So, dito, nangyari dyan is X natin. Then, mag-add tayo ng purchases. Then, it will equal to total goods available for sale. Now, we will less the ending inventory. Then, we can now come up with the total goods. So, BPTLS, beginning inventory, add more purchases. You will go for TGAS, then minus walang ending inventory, and that is cost of goods sold. So, yung cost of goods sold will go to income statement. Meanwhile, the ending inventory will go to balance sheet. Kasi ito yung tira natin. Bakit pupunta yung income statement sa cost of goods sold? Kasi kukunin natin dito yung operating profit natin o yung net profit natin. Pag nakuha natin yung gross profit, we will deduct now the expenses. We will go for net profit. Oops. Ano naman yung inventories ng manufacturer? So, marami-rami to. So, for inventories of manufacturer, we have here a statement of cost of goods sold. So, ganito po yung nangyayari sa manufacturer. Una, yung beginning direct materials. Yung first product na yung raw materials, it will represent the physical aspect of the inventory of an item. So this include direct materials and indirect materials. Pero ang sinasabi lang natin is yung direct materials lang kasi yung indirect materials are not included since there cannot be attributed or physically seen on the product. So yung indirect materials are those which can be easily traced to the finished product. For example, yung paper sa book, di ba? Ano pa? Yung metal frame from a bicycle. Hindi naman kasi makaka-under yung bicycle kung wala yung mga metal frame na yan. Yung gulong mismo, di ba? The flour in the cake. Hindi naman sila makakagawa ng cake kung sa simula pa lang walang flour. Yung corn sa corn chips, di ba? Ganun. Kaya ang tawag ng direct materials. Pag indirect na materials naman, these cannot be economically attributed to the finished product. For example, yung glue na ginamit sa books. No? Kasi yung book mismo, as a whole, pwede naman siyang direktang pwedeng magamit. Yung, di ba, pwede naman siyang gawin ng stapler, di ba, ganun. So, yung stapler din mismo, pwede din siyang indirect material. Basta direkta na traceable, no? Traceable sa item na that is direct material. Pag hindi, yung mga screw, di ba, hindi naman talaga. They are part, but they are not directly traceable. So, yung screw niya sa bicycle, yung food coloring sa cake. So, yung cake, pwede naman walang food coloring, di ba? And seasonings or flavoring used in corn chips. So, yung main product mismo ng item na yun that will be included as direct material. Other else, that is called indirect material. How about working process? Now, here, we can add the direct material purchase pala kung kailangan natin ng other item pa. Then, we can less the ending materials para makuha natin yung cost ng direct material na ginamit natin. Then, we will add the direct materials. So, yung direct materials is during the periods, ini-exclude natin yung mga indirect materials using during the periods. So, tatanggalan natin yan, no? Then, we will add now the manufacturing overhead. So, this represents costs which are not directly traceable to the finished product. Pero necessary pa rin siyang cost production. So, include natin yung mga costs that are not classified as direct materials. So, yung mga binanggit natin kanina na indirect materials, no? Pwede natin siyang masama dito. Direct labor naman, pwede din as part of can be seen, no? They can be used for the product to be produced. So, yung salary, yung pagpasahod natin sa supervisor. For example, pag direct labor kasi, yung mismong gumagawa ng item, that is part of direct labor. Pero, kapag supervisor na yung pinapasahuran mo, hindi naman sila mismo yung gumagawa, that is part of overhead. Okay? Now, there are two types of manufacturer overhead. They can be fixed factor overhead or variable factor overheads. Pag fixed kasi, sinabi natin, yung amount niya monthly or yearly, naka-fix na yung amount. na gagastos natin. So these are indirect costs of a product shown that remain relatively constant regardless of the volume of production. Kahit na pataas ng pataas yung volume ng production, fixed pa rin uh, yung overheads na yan. For example, yung depreciation, di ba? Depreciation ng factory, yearly, same lang yan. Yung management yung nagsaset ng depreciation kung hanggang kailan nila matatapos yan. O yung hanggang kailan magagamit yung item na yan. Yung variable product naman, factory overhead, it will vary directly to the volume of production. Kung tataas yung volume of production, tataas din yung variable factor overhead. So, pwede dito yung indirect materials, pwede din yung indirect labor. So, again, start with beginning direct materials. Simula on the year 1, beginning mismo. Then we will add if kailangan natin ng additional direct materials. Then we will get the total direct materials available. Now we will end ending direct materials para makuha natin yung cost ng direct materials na ginamit natin. Then we will add the direct labor, yung mga pagpasahod natin sa mga employee natin that are directly related to the production of the product. Also, the manufacturing overhead, these are the indirect material and indirect labor but still used in the process of production. Then we can now compute for the total manufacturing cost. Then we add the beginning work in process. So pag beginning work in process, pag sinabi natin work in process, this represents cost of an unfinished products. Kumbaga, partially transformed pa lang, hindi pa talaga finished product, kundi nasa process pa lang siya. No? May mga dagdag na siyang feature, pero hindi pa talaga fully prepared yung product na yun, fully finished yung product na yun. So, that is called work in process. Yung mga dati mong beginning work in process, ang tawag na po yun pag in-add mo yung total manufacturing cost, that is total cost of goods put into process. Kasi ibulagay mo lahat sa process na yun. Then if you compute for the ending work in process, ito yung mga dati ng nalagay mo na ending work in process, you will compute na for the cost of goods manufactured. Ito yung na-manufactured mo na. Okay? So, kumbaga, finished product na siya. Kailangan mo na lang siya ibenta. Tapos, isasama mo siya sa mga beginning finished goods mo para makuha mo na yung total available goods for sale. Ito na yung mga ready to be sold on the market. Then we need to deduct the ending finish of goods kasi ito yung mga at year end, ito yung mga nabenta mo na. Ito yung mga tira mo na, ending finish of goods. Ito na lang yung natira from the total goods available per se, di ba? May kabuuan ka. Tapos may natira na lang. Ang kukunin mo daw yung cost of goods sold, ilan yung na total na nabenta. So, yung cost of goods sold, again, papasok sa income statements. Meanwhile, sa balance sheet, papasok lahat ng raw materials, work in process, and the finished goods. Okay, let's try to solve a problem kung nagets natin. Okay. We'll try to solve this given here. So, kung titignan mo si January 1, that is all called beginning. No? And December 31, that is all called ending. And in addition, that is in the current year na nangyari. Start tayo sa beginning direct materials. For the beginning direct materials, we have 2 million. Okay? Next, we will add the direct material purchase. Ano yung during na purchase? Add natin. So that is 1 million. Then, ito na yung available direct materials natin. So, sorry. Beginning direct materials. Add natin yung purchase. Kuha natin yung total available direct materials. So, pag in-add mo yan, yung dalawa, that will equal to 3 million. This should be 3 million. Okay. 3 million ang available natin. Then, we will now deduct the ending direct materials, which is shown in the problem as 1.2. Diba sa December, ito yung ending natin. Ito na lang itira natin, 1.2. Oops, then, we will now cost of direct material use. Ito na yung nagamit natin direct material. We just need to deduct 3 million to 1. So that is 1.8. Okay? Next, we'll find the direct labor. Direct labor na tayo. Okay, sa problem, kung makikita natin, meron tayo dito okay, meron pa tayo ditong factory supplies. So, ang mangyayari nito sa factory supplies, that is included as a overhead. No? It's included as overhead. Yep. The factory supplies, these are not included as part of the this is part of the overhead. So only direct material. Okay, direct labor muna tayo. Focus tayo direct labor. So direct labor natin, meron tayo dito salaries of production of line workers. Okay, meron tayo dito salaries of line workers. So, that is 900,000. Salaries of line workers. Okay, salaries of line workers, that is included, 900,000. Then, we will now compute for factory overhead or manufacturing overhead. Okay, to compute for factory overhead, we need to find all the indirect materials and indirect labor. So, meron tayong factory supplies. So, ika-calculate lang natin yung factory overhead. So, meron tayo ditong beginning na 500,000. Then, nag-ending na 400,000. So, yung total na nagamit natin will be 100,000. Okay, next. Meron tayong salary of factory supervisor. Add natin salary of factory. Salary of factory worker. So, ilan yun? That is 700,000. Then, we need to add also all the related depreciation. Mga fixed depreciation. So, meron tayo depreciation of factory building. Meron din tayo utilities in factory. Pag office building kasi, that is an admin expense. So, ang sinasama lang natin will be related to the production of product. Okay. So, ilalagay natin dito depreciation factory building. And utilities, yung mga pagbayad ng kuryente. In factory. Saban na din natin. So, yung depreciation natin is 600,000. Huwag nga natin to. So, yung depreciation of factory building, that is 600,000. Yung utilities factory naman natin, that is 120,000. So, try natin i-add lahat. Total. In factory overhead. So, that will be equal to some 100,000 plus 700 plus 600 plus 120,000. 1,520,000. Mayroon pa tayong kulang. Hindi natin nakikita kung asaan. Wait lang ha. Depreciation natin. Mali ata nalagay natin sa salary. Salary of production line workers. Ay, hindi. Tama. 700,000 yung factory supply siguro. Ito. Tingnan natin sa factory supplies kung dito tayo nagkamali na sa factory supplies. Meron pa siyang in purchase. Okay, meron 200,000. So, dito pala, meron siyang pinurchase sa factory supplies. So, iaangat natin to. Ito yung beginning niya. Beginning 500,000. Then, nag-purchase siya factory supplies. So, that is included as 200,000. Therefore, ang ating factory supply should be added 200,000. Okay. Ito na yung total manufacturing overhead natin. It's equal to 1,720,000. Now, if you add these three, the important three, we'll go for total manufacturing costs. So, if we add these three, we'll go for 4,420,000. So, tapos na ba tayo? Hindi pa. Meron pa tayong i-calculate, which is the cost of goods sold. So, ang gagawin natin is to find the beginning raw materials. So, titingnan natin yung problem. Nandito na tayo sa beginning work in process. So, beginning with natin. Pag inad mo, that is total goods put into process. Total goods put into process. Alright. Then, if we less the ending with work in process, we will go to total cost of goods manufactured. Cost of goods manufactured. So we add the beginning work in process. We will go to the total cost of goods in process. We less the ending work in process, that is total goods manufactured. Then we add the finished goods. Finished goods, beginning finished goods. We will come up with the total goods available for sale. Then we deduct the ending finished goods. We will go for cost of goods sold. Now let's try now. The beginning WIP is found on the problem as 500,000. Then, if we add this, we will go for total goods put into process. Now, the ending WIP is also found in the problem as 800,000. Right. Now, if we deduct this, we will come out with cost of goods manufactured. The finished goods is also found in the problem, 1,500,000. Then if we add, this is the total goods available sale. Then we deduct the ending finished goods, which is 1,900,000. We will come out with the cost of goods sold as 3,720,000. So this one will be our answer for cost of goods sold. Di ba? Ang dami. Pero pag practice ng practice, magigets nyo na lang yun. So, I think that's it for inventories. Para di naman kayo mahirapan. No? Ang dami na. Okay, thank you for listening and bye-bye.